Beautiful day to you, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to another video. And as of today, we're always going to talk about the good, and also the bad, unfortunately. Um, Welcome. And for those that are new, welcome. For those that have already been watching, welcome back again. All right. And of course, today, as always, we talk about truth and the connections, or you can say the connections, the correlations between the old and the new, meaning things that have happened before in the past and the things that are going now in the modern day. Now, of course, I don't like necessarily putting people out in the open, but I definitely use examples in such of scenarios. Um, to begin, I will say something about this situation, but we're gonna get started with the topic of today. And of course, we're gonna be in Saint Matthew's and the Chronicle of Saint Matthew. So if you anybody will anyone, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, if you would like to grab your buy and bow, your biblioteca, okay, please go ahead and do so. All right. We're gonna be in the chapter of 23. Okay. So if you would like to follow along and you don't want to grab your buy and bow, that's totally fine. But I'm gonna be reading regardless. And topics of today says conversions of exchange for labor through manipulation, and it's usually from the generations that has accepted to join against righteousness that torture others in the modern days. To basically say what? Is those that are blind are the ones that are destroying those that are not. So if you are a goat and you're amongst a herd of sheeps, does that make you a sheep? No, you're still a goat. Just because you wear sheep clothing and you're a wolf, does that make you a sheep? No, you are a wolf in sheep's clothing. So I be hearing a lot about what people talk on the BET award, show and stuff like that. There's I call it a ceremony. I don't have nothing against people because I love people. Now, as far as the activities of what people do, you can't be it's one thing if you make a song that's like loving, it's all like kind of heartbreaking, whatever the case is, right? But of course, we already know the subliminal messages. This is what I personally do, my personal intake on studying and listening to. So when it comes to messages, the delivery of symbology is very important that a lot of us we need to be very keen and prone to these things because you can miss a whole lot. Now, I'm not going to speak on names, but if you ever see a woman dressing as a man, I don't care if it's a show or not, that is problematic. It sends out the wrong signals. If you see a ring of fire, problematic. It sends out the wrong type of message. I don't stand on here to talk about BS because everything that we saw and that we still see, we're going to continue seeing. We could talk about the message all day as far as the positive things that people say when they come up there talking and speaking about positivity. That does not change the fact that you're still doing things behind closed doors, right? Of course, that is not none of our business, but why would I be, listening to you in the intake of your positivity? Your positivity is corrupted. So you can only look at it from the aspect of what you think is good when it's really not. I'm not a follower. I don't follow trends. I don't follow all of these aspects of stupidity. I really don't. I'm the type of person like I won't tell you I won't curse you out. I won't disrespect you, but if I hear BS, I'm going to say yeah, that don't sound right. I'm gonna be that person. If there's 100 people and somebody has more money than everybody in that whole entire place all together, and they ask me, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be the oddball in the mix because I'm gonna be like, yeah, that don't sound good. That's not cool. I ain't rocking with that. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's not. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Not that around there. Not me. No, no, no. One, two, three. All right. It's I'm that person. I'm not susceptible to a lot of things. I'm just a very I'm not a forceful person. That's the thing about it. That doesn't mean that I can't, speak on my opinion. I follow Christ. I know what's right. So I don't know everything that's good. I know the basics of what I need to know. So I go off of that compass because at the end of the day, it's not, what's the word? It's not corrupted and it makes sense on how people should live their life. You can't be wishy-washy. That makes you lukewarm. It doesn't matter if you call yourself Christian. At the end of the day, if you ask me if you can be the word gay and Christian, I'm gonna tell you no. That it doesn't even go together. It like legitimately does not go together. There's literally in the Old Testament, the New Testament, it doesn't matter. Even in the Tanakh, right? People like to use the Kodaks, I can't even say the word properly, but it doesn't matter. The Kodaks, whatever the case is, there is no activities of the same sexual preferences when it comes to these situations. There's none of that. It's not permissible at all. I don't even see any good that really comes off of it. Now, if you want to say that's what you like, that's your choice. Now, if you were to you come to me and ask me my preference, I'm gonna tell you based on Christianity, you're not gonna say that you are Christian and you are gay. It's not even possible. It's like impossible on every level. Doesn't matter how much you try to justify it, left and right, up and down, back to back. It's impossible. And this is not me judging you. This is just me being realistic. So if you have a conscience when it comes to logic, right? Let's use logic for this instance. If you have a job, right, you have to confine to the laws and the regulations of the job. So the conditions are this and that and that, right? So if you have a job and the rules are this and that and that, and you don't follow the rules, aren't you gonna get fired from the job? Yes, you will get fired from the job. So imagine that being also the case with being Christian. That's the same thing. Because a lot of people like money, so I'm pretty sure they're gonna really relevate or correlate whatever their life situation is. And then of course, it's much love to everyone here. I'm not a beat around the bush type of person. Like, hey, if I can't understand something, I'm gonna tell you I can't understand it, and I'm gonna tell you, hey, wait, I'm gonna wait until the influence of my Creator comes upon me to give me the wisdom to be able to comprehend, and it usually happens. If I'm confused, I don't like confusion. So when I get confused, I will literally say I need a break. Simple. So that means if you're talking to me, you're telling me something that I don't understand. That's basically me telling you, please shut up. Let me think first. Let me process this information that you're giving me. Then we could continue the conversation because I'm not going to think nothing against you to negate exactly your statement. If it's a true statement, that's the main thing that I'm going to want to hear from you, a true statement. So we're going off of logic and sound meaning. So when a lot of people come to me or I go to their platform or their panel or whatever platform that they have or they use, I try to understand people. I try to relevate a situation earlier with somebody. I went on somebody's platform, right? And a whole bunch of people. The topic was on their platform. I'm trying to remember as much as possible in the way that I can. Okay, is the Christian God right? Answer all prayers. What? Oh no, no. Who prayer do the Christian God answer? And I had to think about it. And then the young woman, right? The young lady, beautiful young woman. Very intelligent, maybe just prone to, or maybe just stagnant to her understanding of what religion is. You cannot be wishy-washy. You're either gonna be it or you're not. If you used to be Christian, before we actually get back to the topic, if you're gonna be Christian, be Christian. If you're not gonna be Christian, don't be Christian. That's the easiest way to tell you. I don't want you to not be Christian, but if you would be better off being cold or you'll be better off being hot. Don't be in the middle, because you can't be like, oh, I was Christian at one point. When the when the end comes, I was Christian at one point. I did good to people and this and that and the third. You're not going to be able to do that, because that's not going to work for you as an answer. It's not going to work for you as an answer. You're either the way that you are or you're not. Like when I pray, I don't pray as a character. I pray as myself. I'm happy. I'm always thankful. I'm grateful. I give thanks to my creator every time. Even if I have nothing, if I have something or not, how big, however small that it is, it does not matter. I don't pray on the conditions of a whole bunch of stuff that I don't need. So back to the topic of that, the topic that they had on their panel. I told as an answer, because a lot of people don't realize, because a lot of people don't realize that when you can't use, well, you can use the biblical verses to back up your claim, but you have to remember, when you're talking to people that are not Christian, they're not gonna use your understanding of your claim and the verses as evidence, because they're not part, their mindset and their logic is not based off of that. It's based off of science and philosophy. So you have to give them something that's solid, and then use the verse to empower your testimony as your example. And this is the thing that I teach, because a lot of people are always speaking to non-Christians and they're always shouting, they're always trying to argue, they're always insulting, making the rest of us Christians that are actually true and following look bad. And there was a woman on there, that panel, right? That personally, she started a whole riffraff, and you could tell when she started off good, but when she got emotionally triggered, that demon came in and started, the demon, because these people, unfortunately, they are possessed by the spirit of the antichrist. The wolf started to come, and it infected her, and it corrupted her, so she started acting up based on what they wanted. And this is what they want. They want to embarrass us and make us look like fools of ourselves. To be like, oh, I thought Christians are not supposed to act this way. And this is the reason why they tell you, if you don't have nothing to say, keep your mouth shut. Because if you have something to say it with wisdom and proudness, so that when you're talking, you are actually giving sound meaning. Because when I'm looking at you and you're older than me, and I'm composing myself much better than you, it's easy for people to look at you. Even if somebody say that, oh, he's easygoing, he's an easy prey, they don't know I got hands. I can fight. I like to fight. I have a Goku complex when it comes to fighting. I don't mean I like to hurt people. I just like to spar. Does that mean I'm gonna go out here putting my hands on anybody that talks late? No. Sometimes you can ignore it. You can leave their panel. You can leave their stuff. So you exited off the whole situation terribly. And I apologize, Miss Ma'am, because I will say that I appreciate that you stood up for something, but eventually you started, navigating away from the logic and started getting more emotional. And that's when things stopped making sense. When you started getting emotional, you started talking about nonsense. So, but to get to my answer, I told the women that the women and the gentlemen that were on those platforms, I said that, actually, before I said that, the lady, the host of the panel, she stated that basically, if a slave master had made a prayer to keep the slaves in check, and the slaves wished, basically prayed for freedom to our Christian creator, right, to our Elohim, right, she said that who prayer will be answered. I told her that everything has a purpose. Everything has a purpose. So both prayers will be answered. It's just the aspect of things, because like the same way, our creator is fair. Yes, people might take that, in a very, in a people might deter from that scenario or my statement, but at the end of the day, good is always going to outweigh bad, right? So if your intention is good, right, there's still going to have to be bad in order for you to get the result of good. Nothing that we want, right, it's always going to come in the aspect of what we want. So somewhere you want to be a millionaire, you thinking that $1 million is going to fall out the sky, but you don't know. Maybe you gotta get $5 to play the lottery and then pick the most random number, you won $1 million. Who knows, right? You don't expect you don't always get what you expect in the way that you want. So some of the people on there try to contradict my statement. They were like, well, what if I needed something and I prayed that I needed something, and our creator gave it to us, but at the time that we didn't need it, right? At the time that we didn't need it and we still ended up getting, that is a plus. Because at the end of the day, if you really think about it, did you really need it, or is it that in that circumstances you felt like you needed? So regardless, at the end of the day, you got what you wanted, and then you got what you needed. That is a plus. That just means that you are ungrateful. That's what that means, that you are ungrateful because you prayed for what you needed, but then you got something, an opportunity that gave you what you really want, what you wanted. Well, actually, you got what you asked for, what you needed. So that's what you wanted. But then you got something else in return that you actually did need, that brought you in a place that opened doors for your opportunity, right? To get you what you wanted, well, what you needed. So what you wanted, right? You didn't get until after what you needed. So what you wanted and you thought that you needed, you didn't really need. You did not really need. So you already got what you wanted. So I told him, I straight gave him, because I had to explain that to him. I was like, so everything happens for a purpose, like the slave master, right? Maybe the slaves, like if we were talking realistic time, right? Like a lot of the slave that happened like maybe about 600 years ago, right? A lot of the people, did were unalive, which is a very drastic, horrendous act that I believe should not happen to to nobody on this planet at all. It doesn't matter if it's in America, Ukraine. It doesn't matter if it's in the eastern side of the shores, whatever the case is, right? It should not happen to nobody, right? But I told them that if they did not go through what they did, will a lot of people be here right now enjoying what they're enjoying, to have all of these ego of their base, entitlement that they have now, to feel so powerful and strong as how they do right now? No, because if that did not happen, a lot of us, well, not say a lot, I'm my apologies, but I don't come from that lineage, but I'm just saying a lot of people would still be in slavery, or they would not have been here, let alone they would not have existed. So these things had to happen. So to say that, our creator, when it comes to prayers, whose prayer you are alive, slavery is no longer a thing. At least the slavery of back then is no longer a thing. It's no longer a thing. So who prayers were answered? Mind you, everything is fair. Mind you, like when people try to relevate this situation with Adam and Eve, remember that Adam and Eve had a choice. They were told to not to not partake in the action, which people don't really understand, in the action which is the fruit of life, of good and evil, whatever that people want to say, right? Because there are different books, different versions, and these things are toned to the same thing. It's just the perspective on how people look at these things, right? Now, they were told to not partake in these things, and they did. And what came of it? They were kicked out of the Garden of Eden. That our Creator said, "Be unalive." Right? Did He smote them? Did He smite them instantly? No. He let them live. If that's not forgiveness, I don't know what is. Because He could have smite them. He could have told them fall and leave, and give up the spirit. But He didn't. That is a choice. In the circumstances in that scenario, it played out in their favor. So they had to go and labor. They had to go through hardship. They had to go and eat off the ground, plant seeds and all of this, because that was the situation of a cause and effect. The same way I gave them the example and I told them a force is applied to what? A situation so that it could have a potential outcome, right? That is in science, that is in physics. That's just simple. So if there was no applied force, right, to a situation, even if it looks bad, that does not mean good cannot come off of it. That doesn't mean good cannot come off of it. But then you have situations where you know good is good and bad is bad. So when you make good decisions, even if it's bad things that come off of it, at the end of the day, you don't know exactly what is to happen. But at the end of the day, let's just be logical, right? If there's a law to teach you how to swim, or a rule to teach you how to swim, right? And you don't learn how to swim according to those rules, are you really gonna learn how to swim? Are you gonna not? Aren't you gonna drown because you don't know how? Because you're not following the rules of how to swim? There are cautionary situations. So if somebody were to say that, oh, I want you to be a part of this music group, right? But then you have to sign this contract where we take about 90% of your money, of your revenue, right? Of the songs that you make when you go to the concerts, you perform on all of these things, you only get 10%, right? And that 10 out of that 10%, you have to pay the record labels. You have to pay all of these extra people out of your 10%, not their 90%. Are you going to do that? No. Terms and conditions, they apply to the scenario. So are you going to accept the stupidity, or you're going to actually go on about using your logic and be like, oh, this is not, this contract don't look right. I am not about to put my name on this. I believe people call that a 360 deal. Right? And then I even gave them the instance where when it comes to that situation, right? Because I told them morality goes into this situation. Because in this scenario, right, I am a Christian. I believe that our creator, right, is fair. So if there was to be some type of poll to pick between who is going to be favored of their prayer, right? Mind you, just because the parent did wrong, that does not mean that it's the children's fault. Yes, they fall off the seed of the fruit. But at the end of the day, if the kids choose, because mind you, our creator is omnipotent, omniscient. So he sees before everything already happened. If the kids choose to be in the right path, they're going to be left land. They're going to be left resources and materials. So it benefits. It might not benefit the father or the slave owner, but it will benefit their kids that might not be racist. Although they might be taught racism, that might not be taught race. That might not be racist, right? And it's going to benefit the slaves, those that's going to inherit the things that they got, that they got and they gained from being in that scenario, so that it does not happen again. These things and factors matter. Like I said, it's not okay for these, people to be putting other people in these drastic measures. But at the end of the day, everything happens for a reason. And it has a purpose. It has a time. It has a disposition. So when I say these things, they try their best, but they could not contradict that statement, because at the end of the day, if they did, right, that would have made them look goofy. Just the easiest way for me to say it. But they're very intelligent. But like I said, sheep, you have sheep and you have wolves. They were wolves. So they were looking for somebody to devour. So when the woman stepped on there, and I'm not talking about the host, the Christian woman stepped on there, I was kicked out. Because if there was two of us on there, right, rather than us talking apart, she tried to basically she tried to redefine my statement, but make it hers, but without really using the facts or the logic. And it went so back against her, because at the end of the day, why? She didn't have a deep rooted understanding of what I was saying. But they all did. That's the reason why they all muted themselves, and they were talking, and they stopped talking, they stopped arguing. They understood clearly what I was saying. Because I told them first, let alone I came there with respect and humility. I didn't come on there saying that, oh, you're wrong. I want you to take in what I'm telling you. No, I came there, hey, look, I'm a Christian, right? Just like you're not a Christian. And I don't expect you I don't expect you to believe everything that I say. But I would love for you to understand where I come from, the same way I listen to you and understand where you're coming from. Now, if what I'm saying is convicting enough and it can get you to understand what I tell you, right? That's perfectly fine. If it does not convict you, That's understandable. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm not here to fight with you because I'm not fighting you, but the spirit that's within you. So I would never say that you are a demon, but you could be possessed, and that's is not okay for me, right? It's not okay for me to see that. But at the end of the day, I cannot do something that you don't give me the acceptance. It's like if you see a house and the house is, has a lock on it. Am I gonna break in the door, or am I gonna knock at the door and allow and get this and try to get you to allow me to come in? I'm gonna knock at the door. I'm like, hey, can I come in? Or if you invite me in, it's simple. I'm not coming here to fight people. That's not my job. That is not my job. And I tell a lot of people on here to stop doing that because it's not good. When you're embarrassing people, when you're disrespecting people, all they're going to do is they're going to do the same thing. And then when there's more of them than you, it's not you being tough or you being protective of you, or you protecting yourself. Is you knowing that you should not be speaking like that, because if it was you that somebody was talking to like that, you would have been you would have got mad. And because you felt triggered and emotionally triggered because you did not make sense, you started disrespecting them and they disrespected you back. Because when I was on there, I was being respectful. I talked like I had sense and I gave sense as of the love that I shared with them, even when they understood and when they did not understand. And I'm pretty sure they understood very much what I said, because there was no other way that they could not understand about the amount of, there's some examples that I don't even remember that I said, but I said it, and I'm pretty sure they record those videos. And I followed the young woman. Typically, a lot of people wouldn't even follow them. They're just going to hop on the live and then dip off. No, I followed her because I was like, hey, she used to be Christian, so that means that she still have hope. She's not completely gone. I don't care what people say. I'm the type of person, I believe a lot. I believe people can change. If Christ believed in a lot of people can change, what makes you think that I can't? It's not my job to hate on nobody. It's not my job to disrespect anybody. And that's the problem. People are like, oh no, you shouldn't associate with people. No, what do you mean? Christ sat with the politicians and the sinners. The main people, the same people that are governing our town right now. They showed him more love than his own people. To basically say what? When I was in that live, there was no congregation among what? Among the Christians, it was all separation. Everybody wanted to get their turn to speak because they wanted ego of whose statement is better. That's not about that. We're not here to work as individuals. We're here to work as a team, as a unit. That is our mission, is not to work separately. And this is what people are forgetting. Stop forgetting that you cannot call yourself a Christian and you're bringing division among your own people. Just because you want praise, you want influence, you want power, you want attention, you want glory. It's not for you. That ego is going to be what destroys us, because at the end of the day, we don't know how to leave that alone. We don't know how to not be egotistic, how to be prideful. A lot of people don't know. And I literally, when I get on these lives, I take note on how I watch people. I watch people based on their mannerism. I watch people based on the words that they say, how they act, and what they're looking at, what their specific words that they like using. All of these things, it tells me a lot about people. It tells me a lot. I'm not studying people. I'm not saying I'm taking a pen and a note. No, I'm just looking at stuff. She seemed like the host seemed like a very lovely young lady. She seemed like she can curse and all of this extra stuff. But at the end of the day, she was being respectful. She just, like how she wants to believe, just like Christian, just like some of these forceful Christians, right? That call and consider themselves Christians, that don't know how to take no as an answer. She does that sometimes, but at the same time, she know how to, just say, all right, I understand. She know how to pull away. She know how to pull away. And that's the thing about us. We're always forcing things that we don't need to force. Just because somebody don't see things the same way, you can be upset, but it doesn't mean that it's your job to force somebody. It's not our job to convict people. That's why you inspire people. You give them examples. You teach them something they did not have nobody. And I could tell nobody on that platform came and spoke the words that I did. Because every time when somebody speak about something, they get off of topic. I stayed on topic. I didn't budge not one bit. And they try to take they try to nitpick words out of my specific statement, which would not work because I had to like what did I not say that did not make any sense? If people didn't understand, that's fine. Hey, that's cool. I can repeat my statement again, in which I did. Then one thing about me when I get on these live videos, I learned exactly the tactics that these people do. So they will literally use what is there's a specific word for it when you are questioning somebody's statement using their specific statement. Basically, it's like is making their statement a rhetorical stanza or something like that. I can't remember it, but like you're questioning somebody's statement using their statement just to find an opening for them to crack. Because if they basically if they stand on that statement, right, and they actually prove evidence, there's nothing that the people against them that can really use against them. But if you start changing the topic based on your answer and you do not provide any factual statements, that's when they can crack you, because you're not stable and you're not founded in the roots of what you're saying, meaning you will be buzzed. And when a wind can blow in your direction, you will be moved. Your understanding of something is not found or deep. It's not deep. So they will literally push you left and right, push you left and right, push you left and right until you crack, and then you give them something to be entertained about. And the people in the comments don't make it any better. So a lot of the people in the comments either are lost to self, which is majority of them, or or they just don't know any better. Or they don't have profound knowledge either. Like I said, that ego. See, I wasn't going to hop on there live, but I felt convicted to hop on there. I even timed it. The moment I said that I was going to leave in 2-3 minutes if they don't put me on, the moment I said that, they immediately put me on the panel. And I'm not saying that they heard me, but I said this out loud because I was just like, man, I've been waiting for a little minute. And some of these people that are Christian that are coming on here, they're not saying nothing. They're just here to argue and make Christians look like fools. I got on there. People were trying to say something in the comments, but they couldn't. Because what are you going to disagree on that? And the woman that was Christian, she hopped on there. She started talking about slavery. She started calling people slaves. I was like, hey, look, it's not called for, because now you're jumping out of subject. The topic is this. I was trying my best to support you because we're Christians, but you are also giving me reasons to just be like, okay, please stop talking, man. Please just stop talking. Because you're not making sense at this point. That's the vibe that I started getting. Because you should not make me, a person who really doesn't really think like that, right, to start thinking like that about you. Because I understand how people think. And I understood what she was trying to say. But because she was changing so much of the subject off the topic, it stopped making sense after a while. And I was just like, okay, now can we just get back to the topic? Because she started arguing. So when they started contradicting her, I could tell she forgot some of the statements that she made, and it kind of made it a little bit worse for her. And I wanted to hop in, but the panel and of the host, they kicked me off. I couldn't do nothing to help. And she didn't make the situation any better by not being calm and being collective. Don't let these demons move you when you get into an argument or a situation where you have to talk or express yourself. Don't let them get the best of you, because that's what a lot of them want. They want you to be emotional so they can seep out your energy. Remember, Christ said that Beelzebub, Satan's, cannot cast out Satan. So they're more incorporated and organized and orchestrated more than us because they lack division. They have the same purpose. We're the only ones that do not get along amongst our own people. We're the only ones. That's the reason why these people are able to get an up on us a lot of times, because first we lack knowledge, and not only because we lack knowledge, we lack the understanding of not under we lack the understanding that, look, it's not about ego, it's about the purpose. You hopped on here because your purpose was to talk about what? Christ. To what? Relevate the purpose and bring back life and the understanding of good and righteousness of Christ. So when you start deviating from that because you cannot understand on how to talk to people on these things, do not hop on there because they're going to make a fool out of you. You like remember, you cannot talk to an atheist that's not Christian. Well, you cannot talk to a person that's not Christian and use the verses. It's not going they literally going to tell you they don't care. And if they know the verses, it's going to be bad on you, because if you really do not know what you're saying and you're just talking based off the word and just morality, mind you, I use logic. So I use logic in my experience, right, to their actual to the example that the woman used, so that I can relevate the situation to make an actual clear statement. It's not that, oh, this is the word says this and that and that. They're not Christian. So that it's gonna be, why are we gonna even allow? Why are we gonna listen to your claim? We're not Christian. They're not Christian. That's what I want you guys to think about. If you were not Christian, would you want somebody to list something out of a book? Like, imagine somebody that's Muslim, right? That's reading off the Quran, right? And then they come at me and they tell me this about Muhammad and the Hadith, right? And all of these things, right? And they tell me all of these chapters, right? Or if they want to list any of these, any of the Injil, right? Or anything that they want to recite. Oh, I asked them a question about something, right? And they're gonna be like, "Oh, this is." If you want to say that the Christian God is gonna answer prayer, go off that topic. Don't go off your own understanding, and that's the problem. They know how to cut the sheep head, and when you do not have the strength to be able to speak, they cut off your leg, they cut off your arm, they dismember you. So a lot of times when people hop on a live, you have to bring knowledge. You cannot come up there with the heart of anger, with the heart of disagreement. Go on there with the heart of love. Because if you have the knowledge, you're gonna have love. You shouldn't feel at ease. You shouldn't feel this uncomfortable when people are talking. If you know what you know, that means that you are what? You are comfortable with how you're speaking. You are comfortable in every scenario that you're given at, because you have confidence and faith in your knowledge. That's what people are missing: knowledge, understanding. So if you don't watch these videos and you have not been watching these videos, go and watch these videos. Go and watch these videos, because it's very important. It's very, very important. People think that just in order for you to have the Holy Spirit, you have to speak in tongue. You don't have to speak in tongue. There are different gifts, visions, prophecies, all of these things. Even if you don't get prophecies or visions, listen, just being able to do things, right? Just being able to do things that glorify your creator, you're going to see results. Even if you don't get millions of dollars, you don't have the best job in the entire world, you're still going to get results. Everything starts spiritual before it becomes physical. You don't know who and what in life is ever going to help the situation. That's how that works. It doesn't work by our own understanding. That's the reason why we always fail to understand, because we always want to complicate things by trying to perceive the future of the things that we don't even need to think about. It's one thing being prepared and preparing for something, but it's another thing trying to create the future of things that you don't need to create. It becomes abnormal. Then now you are creating phenomena, right, in the spiritual, because don't think that you're not altering the future or the spiritual aspect of life. You are altering the aspect of reality. So when you are given and you have an inconclusive, fixation on the things that you do spiritually, it starts to create chaos, because that's an incomplete task that you're literally writing right there. It's an incomplete task. Why else does it say, when anything you speak of, it can happen, it can be real, it can be made real? It's because you are able to do that. That is also a gift. Like I said, if you have not been watching these videos, go and watch these videos, because I can't say anything that I haven't already said. Everything that I say already, I've already said in some aspect of way. Maybe like as far as interaction and stories, maybe not the same, but they're still relevant to exactly what I've been saying. But we're gonna get into a contradiction. I'll say three contradictions, or two contradictions, matter of fact. All right, we already know the verse, the chapter we're in. We're gonna go to verse 13, right? And let's read the subject first, and it says confusion slash new age spirituality with modern indoctrination through manipulation. And the script says, so be careful, you scribes and Pharisees, for you are hypocrites, withholding the truth of the kingdom of heavens from your people. So for that suffer, for you will not enter through the gates. And the Pharisees, the scribes, the elders, they're the same ones out here that are preaching every single day, teaching their own. They might even talk about Christ, they might talk about the Holy Scriptures, the Bible, right? But they're still gonna put in their own understanding in this, and then if it's the truth, they're gonna try to basically jump a person that either has a lack of understanding or they don't believe in that faith. We can't be acting like wolves. We cannot be acting like wolves. It's completely wrong. Let's continue. It says, warnings also to you, you scribes and Pharisees, for you are hypocrites, being same, you fill up the houses of single women and pray on them, let alone you embellish long prayers. Just know that an enhanced punishment shall pursue you. All of these people that like to showboat. Oh, I'm much more Christian than you. I'm a better Christian than you. Salvation is personal. I'm a better Christian than you. Watch your tongue. Watch yourself. Watch yourself. Watch yourself. Completely watch yourself. I know a lot of people don't say it out of the mouth that I'm a better Christian than you. And some do. The audacity of them to say that. Some do. But the way that people act says that. I'm a better Christian than you. Watch yourself. Watch yourself. It's not a competition among us. That's the reason why the other team are winning, because a lot of us can't even get past the fact that it's not even about us at all. It's about the glory of our Creator, our Elohim. Watch yourself. But let's continue. It says, warnings unto you also for traveling the seas and lands, contradicting many people's faith, converting them to be worse than you, and manipulate them like babes, and have them commit atrocious acts due to your tricks. So they're the same ones that will get people going off here doing all of these abominations, right? And telling them, oh, it's for the sake of Christ. Oh, a pastor is gonna sleep with a woman and say that, oh, she's gonna be blessed. She's I don't even like using the word blessed. Uh, she's gonna be favored. Whoa, 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 because he's the pastor. He can say anything that he wants to her. The BS that some of these people are saying out their mouth, and people are just believing because they're pastors or preachers or prophets. You cannot self-claim what you are. You really can't. I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't realize that. The same way there are a lot of people out here that tells you that, oh, you have to be baptized by water. When what is saved? Is it your flesh or is it your spirit that is saved? When Christ come to, to wash your sins away. What is tied to you? What is the influence when they say that it's not the flesh that we wrestle by, but what? The principalities, the powers, the thrones, and the dominions of this world that goes against us. What do you think that means? That means what? It's the spirit, it's the influence of those, evil, wicked, dark beings. That's what that is. So a lot of people are wasting their time thinking, oh, if that's what helps you in your journey to be washed by water by a person, just like John did the Christ, that's fine. But do not rest your mind thinking that just because you got washed in water, that's the only thing that's going to save you. That spirit of fire, that spirit of fire, that eternal fire is that spirit that's going to come in you. That's what you need. Not what you could have. No, that's what you need. That's what you need. That is what you need. Because otherwise, Christ would not have come in this world and gave up his spirit. But let's continue. Another contradiction. We're going to read, let me see, just so that I don't hold you guys up too much. We're going to read two more contradictions. Verse 15. Verse 15 says, as far as the subject, right, it says, the monopoly of money registered to the zombies of this modern time. And the script says, you are blind guiding many. You have them swear unto your temples many oaths, and you corrupted systems of finances of imports and value, which you make debtors, which basically you become a loaner or you become a broker, whatever that it is, right? You make debtors, right, to them, and you the benefactors. So people are put in debt. These are the same people that tell you about Christ and all of these things and all of that and that and that and the third. You're literally your prophets are making profits off of you. Literally, your prophets are making profits off of you. They're making profits off of you. If you can't have a conversation with somebody without talking about stability in the sense of, money, I'm gonna say hi, goodbye, literally, quick conversation. That's it. We're not talking about Christ. Don't really need much to talk about. If we're not talking about elevation, don't really need much to talk about because everything else is irrelevant to me now. I got into a point where I can laugh and joke with people that I know that are in Christ that I don't have to worry about them. But there are certain things that I just cannot talk about no more. I don't curse at people at all. If I ever curse by accident, that's just a slip up, and I always ask for forgiveness. I always do. And I don't curse like in the sense like, oh, mother effing this. I had to think about it. I had to think about it. Like, what curses? Like, yeah, mother effing this and that and that, whatever that it is. If that ever has to be, it probably happened like once in a very, 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 very rare blue moon. I don't curse at people. I don't even look at people with the wrong potential of good, with the wrong potential. Meaning, I don't look at people in a negative sense. Some things are not my business, so I don't make it my business. Even if 10,000 people are talking about this one person online, not my business. I don't know this person personally, and if it's true and there's evidential proof to this truth, that's different. I'm still not going to judge the person. I'm just not going to put my mouth involved in it. I'm like, hey, what they did, yeah, that's terrible. I don't think that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I hope that they're going to find salvation. Of course, I can word it a little differently depending on how I feel, especially if anything has to do with kids. Yeah, I can't rock with that. For sure, I can't rock with it. Hurting kids, I cannot rock with it. I can't. But let's go to the next contradiction, which is verse 27. And the subject says, kill to control or unallowed to control. And the verse says, the same unto you, scribes, for you both appear innocent, but have known the cause to these excessive deaths due to your mitigation. Although you appear gentle to many, that is nothing but a facade, for you're filled with misdeeds, hypocrisy, and wickedness. So warnings unto you, scribes and Pharisees, you honor the prophets' deaths for the influence and their likeness, but mistreat those common within among many of their burial. So a lot of people are being finessed, hoodwinked by the same people that are smiling in your face. And these are I call them corporate actors. That they belong in associations to mislead people within their own community. Gatekeepers. That's what these people are. Gatekeepers. They will literally kill people that are moving forward just because they want to get their way. And a lot of people can't really they really can't harm you in the sense of how they want to harm you if you're not associated with them. If you don't associate and accept certain things that people are or what they do, they can't really harm you. And that's the truth. It's like being supposedly in this Illuminati stuff. They can try to hurt you, but trust and believe there's something that's going to happen and that's going to cross in their path. I don't really care about what the Illuminati stuff is. It doesn't really matter and it doesn't mean nothing to me. It's not my life, not my purpose. I have nothing to say about them for real, for real. Because they're all organized and they do everything that they do well for functionally organized. Bad or good. Intentional or not intentional. We're the only people as Christians that are literally getting manipulated by these people, and we're literally just like, hey, see you in another time. Like, what, bro? What? But I always got to give you guys an inspiration, and of course, there's no digits to the verse for this one. But we're gonna read it anyways. And subject for the first one says, "We are always there. We are always there. We are one always. There is no such thing as hierarchy appointed by men." That's funny. Funny how the coincidence is being put in this scenario. But it says, "But remember, there is only one, even Christ, for all of us are family. The same as a father, for we only have one, and he sits in his throne up in the heavens. So do not allow anyone to call you master, for there is only one, and through me and in me be Yahuwah." The next verse, and I'm going to conclude that one right there. The next verse says, "Those that are true in love will be highly respected." And that's the subject. The verse says, "For the greatest amongst you all shall serve and be a servant unto others, for the humble shall be exalted, and the proud shall be humbled." And what did Christ say? He came to serve. So what does that mean for us? We're not here to what? Make ourselves get the ego, to get the praise, because it's not for us. And that's the reason why people are literally doing this project. They're doing this. This is a project. A lot of people are doing this wrong. Understand that every time you come out here, you call yourself Christian, you will be tested to be Christian on the highest or the lowest aptitude of what that is. In your faith, in your ability to love, in your understanding, your knowledge, your strength, your durability, your stamina, your spirituality, your mental, all of you will be tested in every aspect of your being and existence. And a lot of people are forgetting this. That's the reason why they get lost in the sauce, because the moment they get gratification of attention and empowerment, whoa, whoa, I'm the best out here. I'm sorry, buddy. You're not. You could be, but you digressed yourself from could be the best to not, because you thought. You use your human brain to limit the understanding of what the purpose was. You forgot what the purpose and the project and the mission was. You forgot what it was. A lot of people want to talk about the numero uno, right? As far as the one person that's to come. Somebody can control time, space, whatever that it is, even that it is, and how they operate on how they want to do these things, right? At the end of the day, they have a one purpose goal. And the one thing about these demons and devils, they need a vessel. They need a vessel that they want to possess that can have an altitude of a higher density, meaning frequency that holds nothing for them to be able to exercise their abilities. They need a vessel of such. That's what we call grace. Because you're filled with strength. You're filled with power. They need a vessel like that. They need a vessel like that. So a lot of you that do watch this video, right, that are Christians, that are not being cautious, and you're following these doctrines of these hypnotic, you are special, you are the world peace. I'm sorry to tell you, you have a choice. Peace does not, with peace comes with war. Because if there's already chaos, how are you going to end chaos with peace? If the people that are creating chaos don't want peace. This is a war. This is literally a war. And it's not a war of the flesh, but of the spirit. And people are going up here walking like zombies and people don't even know it. I watched a video of a young woman preaching, saying that if people are liars, she said something that people are wrong, either they're liars or they're wrong because they say that the Bible is missing descriptions or something. Hopefully, do forgive me, young woman, my sister, but honestly, that's not a false statement. A story that's told about people's, ideals that have been, existing in the same era and time frame. They should all have a matching story, which should all be in one and not necessarily separate. And if it was to be separate, it would be based on their own personal journey, not necessarily just with Christ. Their journey with Christ should have been one story, and their personal journey should have been included in their personal situation, in their story. That's how story works. You don't tell one short story for like 23 chapters, 15, 16 chapters, and then skip descriptions that are the same story in another person's chronicle of their life. It doesn't make sense. They're all in the same place. They were all going around walking with Christ in the same era. Why is the story different? That means it's intentional when it was translated that way. So you cannot tell 80% of the truth. I'm gonna say one more time, like I said in my previous video. You cannot tell 80% of the truth and expect it to be the truth. If it's 80%, it's considered a lie. If it's not 100%. Simple. You can't say somebody is wrong because they said it. Because at the end of the day, We have to remember, like she used the word testimony. We all know that these chapters, these chronicles, are testimonies of the apostles, the saints, right? The gospel has been told of Christ. But all of these are testimonies of how they were inspired by the Spirit throughout their journey of walk. Their walk. Some of the people died. Some of the people died before they even met, after they met Christ, before Christ even passed. So how could they have wrote certain stories if they were not even alive? If Christ was no, if they were already unalived, right? Before Christ was unalived himself, it wouldn't make sense. So, like I said, when you read the text and you read these words, right? Things have to make sense. These are testimonies. We all know that. That's why they're holy, because in somewhat the Spirit was given to them to give a sound meaning for people to still not lack, to not lack in salvation, to be able to still be saved. But does it mean that it's everything? No. We got the important part. That's what we need. That's what was needed. The important part of the walk. We got that. Now we need to dive in the word, not necessarily we gotta first, before we go all in this history stuff, and then let's dive into the word, right? Let's chronologically organize the scripture, right? Time frame, everything, place, map, all of it. Let's chronologically organize the scriptures and make it make sense first, in a sense where the story, if you were to write a story, you're not going to say, I went to the bar and then I left the bar. What happened in the bar? Because later on, you call the police and say that somebody tried to fight you. What happened in the bar? You get what I'm saying? Like, these things matter. Because to me, it's gonna look like some of these chapters, some of these chronicles, right? I said chapter. Well, maybe yes. Some of these chapters and chronicles, it seemed like the writers, as far as the translator, try to fill in exactly what could just help the scenario sound a little bit better. And if that happens to be the case, I'm not gonna be fairly upset with them. But at the same time, like I said, it was not probably the best idea. Because that's the reason why people are going to these chapters. We're nitpicking. That's the reason why nitpicking is an option, because there are chapters that are literally saying this and that and that and the third. They all need to be one story. Because if they're all one story, now there's no way to really differentiate the understanding of what is being told. That's why there's division. That's the reason why there's division, because we're able to nitpick from left to right, from the Old Testament to the New Testament. It doesn't matter if it's Psalms, it doesn't matter if it's Genesis or Exodus. Let's be realistic. We can talk about all of these things when it comes to the apostle said this. Yes, we all know that. It doesn't change the fact that a story needs to still be chronologically in order. Because even when we look at the Old Testament, right? A lot of people don't seem to notice that the Old Testament is more in chronological order than the New Testament. That's also the reason why the Tanakh, when it came to the Hebrew Bible, when it came to the Torah, right? They follow it because it's much more decisive. It's not nitpicking. That's the reason why when this translation came, it was easy for there to be denominations within Christianity. You don't see denominations in the Muslim preference of their own beliefs. It's the Quran, the Quran, the Quran. There's no Quran 1. There's no King James Quran. There's no none of that. There's just Quran. So why are we not understanding that? Why are we still fighting against each other to literally down each other? When we cannot, like, literally, if somebody were to literally write down the whole history from, like, literally picking every part from, if we, let's start with the New Testament. Forget the Old Testament, right? When it comes to this, let's start with the New Testament. If we were to pick all the way from I believe Matthew's, from Saint Matthew's all the way to Psalms, and we chronologically order it in the history and the story as what it's supposed to be written as, it'll take people a long time to do that. It'll take people a very long time to do that. And then most people don't even want to do that because of the time span that it would take. And it's just that simple. So if it's that hard, if it's easy for people to say, oh, let's go to Ezekiel, let's go to 2 Corinthians, let's go to Romans, so we can nitpick exactly the claim of what we want to dispel to you. It could be helpful, right? Which is not a problem. But this is what also brings confusion for a lot of people that understand that, yes, it's good to talk about this with other Christians that can understand what you're saying. But even amongst the Christians, they argue amongst themselves. So imagine the people that don't believe. What about them? What are you going to do for them? What literally are you going to do for them? Are you going to pray about it? Because a lot of people don't even pray right. They yell at the Holy Spirit. They yell at our Creator. Ah! Like, bro, it does not convict me. I don't even listen to people when they pray like that. Because a lot of people don't even realize that, yo, you can pray in your mind. You know that, right? You don't have to utter words out of your mouth. That's why you have a conscience. You have a mind. You can pray in your mind. You know that the devils, they can hear you pray out loud. You think that Christ, every time when he was praying, you think that every time when Christ was praying, he spoke out loud? The devils can hear your prayers. How else can they hear your prayers? You think that, oh, you speak out loud, they can't, they're just gonna magically, your prayers are gonna magically tune out. Like, bro. Imagine you're not praying properly and your intentions is not making sense. You think they're not gonna hear it? Just like that topic the young lady was speaking of, and some of the young ladies on that panel, and the young men on those panels, they were talking about Christ. Which one, when it comes to the Christian God, who is he gonna answer their prayer, the good or the bad? The devils also answer prayers. The Satans, they also answer prayers. The demons, they also answer prayers. That's why there's a system of them. They also answer prayers. When I started, they cannot read your mind unless you invited them within your temple. And even with that, it's hard. They only read off the reactions that are called chemical reactions. In the spirit, there are certain aspects of things that are literally taking action that are taken as an, recessive or receptory actions that they can actually perceive of your intention. They can read your intention. They can't read your mind. They can't. They cannot. If they can read your mind, you are a puppet. Simple as that. So a lot of the people that are afraid, you're a puppet. Everything starts from your mind. When you talk, right? When it starts from your mind and your heart. When you talk, where does your speech come from? Where does your tone, the ability to understand what tone you gotta use come from? When you think, what do you think? Where do you think it comes? Literally, where do you think it comes from? Your mind, your spirit man. People are forgetting these things. And this is what the church needs to teach to people, rather than the morality of being prosperous and thinking about going to college every 10 seconds and then having a whole bunch of money, which is going to literally pass you by. That's the reason why all of these promotions are always talking about money, because yes, you can live with money, but then because there are people that are ruling money, money would never be a good thing unless they step off of power. That's the only way. And because there's so many people corrupted that can only live because of the instance of money, what do you think is going to happen? That's why people are getting killed because of money. No self-control, no understanding. But I already spoke a lot. I'm not going to try to push this any further than what I have. Because I want people, I want you all, brothers and sisters, to understand it's a crazy world, and it's getting crazier every day. It's getting crazier every day. There are a lot of people that want you, they want you to believe in your creator so you can connect with them, so that at the last moment you betray him. So you can have what they want you to think that is necessary for you to have. So they can control you and make you do worse things. That's why they don't target people that are already lost. They target people that are in Christ, that want to have faith but don't know where to start. They don't know where to stand at. Those are the people they target. That's why we fight. That's why we have all of these difficulties. Because why? They're not going to try to leave us alone. And if they do leave us alone, 9 out of 10, they put out a commission, or they ran out of resources for them to continue using their witchcraft, their magic, their sorcery, their wizardry, their necromancy. Everything happens with conversion when it comes to magic. So there is a give to a take. They need a generator, something to produce, so that there can be an effect, so that from the cause of what they did, an effect can take place. The law of conversion. Not even conservation, the law of conversion in general. In this world, things are being converted. Frequency, my tone of speech, all of it. That's all I want you guys to do, is to be cautious. That's all. I don't come in here to yell at anybody, so if you feel like I yelled at you, forgive me. I don't mean no disrespect to you. And if you're new to this channel and you have felt like you were called to leave the old things of the past, welcome. Just know that being in these toxic situations, the only way for you to leave out of it is to literally have love in your heart. You cannot escape, you cannot elevate in anything if you don't have love in your heart. At all. I don't care if you are somebody that makes swords, what do they call it? A blacksmith. Doesn't matter who you are. It can be a woman, it could be a man, it can be anybody. It doesn't matter who you are. I'm a very, very, very intelligent young man, and I tell people things that in a way that they can understand, so that they don't get surprised when I speak to them, and they don't feel no type of way. I'm the type of person, I will say the uncomfortable in front of people, and I will not care not one bit how uncomfortable somebody get. I know how to read the room if I have to, but because I don't like when people try to make me uncomfortable in the sense of not respecting me and my words, I have to speak on it. There are people that will literally bring you to therapy just so that they can drug you up. And then tell people if they ever do anything wrong to you, they tell people because you reacted a certain way. They tell people that, oh, you are a druggie, you were taking all of these medicines. I don't play about that. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't do none of them. I don't take no pills. I don't have no mental problems, no health problems whatsoever. I'm a very bright young man, not the type that you want to play around with. So mind your concerns on certain things, because there's certain things that you should not be trifling with. I don't play like that. I do not play like that. I got love and respect for every last one of you. And this is not talking to you brothers and sisters in a sense. This is talking to the people that are, the targeters. You got the praise and you got the predators. The predators. This is me talking to the predators. If you're watching with the intention of love, the intention of love is going to be shown. It's not going to look forced. It's not going to look manipulative and then symbolically devilish. I don't have to watch a YouTube video, a TikTok video, or Instagram video, or people doing their own intake on what they're perceiving. If I like something, I like something. If I don't like something, trust and believe. Even if I talk about it or don't talk about it, trust and believe. I already know. I don't have to put it into words for me to tell you what it is. So for a lot of people that are rocking their heads, understand you are the extension of the roots of this generation. You are what is necessary for this world to continue. So if you follow by what those people have already done, and you know good, you know what good gives, it will be on you and nobody else. You're going to continue to allow all of these things to continue because you wanted to. You enjoy all of the bad that comes with it. But unfortunately, I know how people's heart is. So I don't blame you. You were taught that way. You were trained to feel that way. But all I'm going to say is favor unto you, much love unto you. I pray for a lot of the people out here that are clueless and those even that are not clueless. I pray for the potential of your salvation and the best aspect that salvation can come unto you in your life, let alone your entire family. Because I don't support demonism or demonicism, however people want to call it, Satanism. It's something ism, narcissism. I do not promote that. Like I tell people all the time, if you don't want me to speak the truth, don't bring it around me. Because I'm telling you, I can be the most brainiac person that never went to all of these places, all of these extra Ivy League schools, and I might have maybe gotten a global experience of understanding concepts on this field, and that field, and I never finished certain things. That does not mean that I do not have the ability to comprehend. I don't speak one language. That should tell you a lot about how my brain works. But enough about that situations, brothers and sisters, because I had to speak on that for a lot of the people that don't know any better. But sometimes you can tell when somebody is seeking for help, but they don't know how to ask for it. So when they think that it's just a situation of negativity, it's not negativity. I don't pray for negativity for anybody. I'm not looking for any type of carnal relations with anybody. I just want the best for people. That's all it is. I want salvation for people. That's all it is. And people sometimes they take it in the wrong aspect. It's okay to love people. It's okay to show love to people. It's okay to have, kindness to people. Whatever happened to, hey, I love the fact that you are a happy individual, that you are a kind, loving individual. I'm happy at that. I would love for me to learn more about that from you. I would love to see more. I would love to see you smile more. I would love to be around you for the sake of you being you and you just being happy. This world is no longer functioning in that type of mindset because I mean it never really have been, but it's just that's what we need to bring back. If people call you naive, be naive in that sense. Don't be stupid. If being loving is naive, be loving. Just don't be stupid. That's all. Don't be stupid. Sometimes you gotta play like a dummy so that people can think that they can have the up on you. People don't know what I think all the time. Even when I talk to you guys and I tell you what I tell you, yeah, I do be holding back sometimes a little bit on certain things, but it's just that I can't tell you everything if you guys are already not understanding the little things. And that's the reason why I gave those statements. So if you watch this video all the way until now, you're gonna understand why it's important to learn little by little, step by step. And the ones that can understand the big things, trust and believe, you will understand the little things. You will be also the type of person to connect with these type of people that are speaking like this. It doesn't have to be me. Trust and believe, if you ended up in this video, it's because you were meant to. It's not because, oh, you chose. No, you were meant to. That's why I make these videos. It's not because of ego. I'm not the best person to speak on everything. There are people out here that can give you better responses than me. I'm just going to be the person to keep it real and keep it respectful and give you the understanding in a way that if you were to be a babe or an infant, you will be able to understand this. And I'm not saying literally. So please, be cautious, be loving, be real, and be understanding and patient. Much abundance to you, much favor onto you. I hope that a lot of you are allowing our Elohim, our Adonai, for in Him, Yahushua Yahusha, to enjoy the day with us. No matter the amount of moons, no matter the amount of suns that He provides, that we call day and night, be grateful because you're alive. No matter the things that you get that you feel like you want, let alone the things that you feel like you need. Just because you don't get what you want doesn't mean you're not going to get what you need. Just because you don't get what you need doesn't mean you're not going to get what you want. Because you might get what you want after you get what you need. Sometimes you might get what you want before you get what you need. You don't know how our Father works. He has a humor, and it's not to be disrespectful. It's just also a moment of teaching for us to be humane, to understand patience and love. He understands and everything that we need. That's the reason why I say when people are praying wrong, they don't even know they're praying wrong. They don't even know they're praying wrong. Is there a wrong way to pray? Yes. There are right ways to pray and there's wrong way to pray. The first type of prayer that you need to start doing is the prayers in your mind. Because if you're not fortifying your mind, because don't think that you're not going to be attacked. You will be attacked mentally. And it's not easy. It is not easy. It's not. But unfortunately, I will have to leave. I've been holding you guys hostage for too long, all right? I've been holding you guys hostage for too long. I would love to get some rest because it's already like really late over here and it's starting to get a little hot because of all these lights. And I don't want to put on some loud instrumentals that's gonna be all in here, just all in my face, like all this cold air and all. I don't want to do all that. I'm the type of person I don't really sweat like that, but like I will kind of like sweat a little bit when it's hot. But because I'm used to the heat more than the cold, I don't sweat that easily. I get a little like moist. Probably the wrong choice of words. I get like I don't know the proper word for it, but you know, like I get a little sweat that come up on my skin, but it's not like the you know. Oh wait a minute, I was gonna say drippy sweat, but hey, it don't matter. We're not thinking negative here. The type that drip down or that seep down or whatever the case is, it doesn't collect. It's not a collective amount of sweat. It's just the type of sweat where like if I fan it off, it's just gonna dry instantly. But yeah, love you all so much. Thank you for joining me again today. Um, mwah, love you. And of course, if somebody told you they don't love you today, tell them I said I love them. I love you. All right, love you. Take my kiss. All right, take care.